I believe we may be live. I certainly hope so. I am live. It is informing me. So good evening to you, everybody. My dear Astral Oracles, I'm very glad to be here, and thank you for showing up already. It's not even 18 o'clock, Jana is saying. Good to see you, Jana, Jochen, Suzanne, and thank you so much to everyone who's sent me messages today, and hello to you, Mandy. So if I haven't replied, I have received your messages. I have all the questions assembled, and they will be answered. So just know that we're going through a lot of questions today, but everyone should have their questions answered. And Tony Veritas, so good to see you too, man. And speaking of which, thank you to you for your generosity, your donations, and the same to Suzanne, and the same to Natalie. And thank you so much to Mandy for subscribing over there, and the same to Laurie and Salish and Sophia. And then thank you to everyone who submitted questions and donations to over at the coffee site. And I'll just see if Patrice, of course, thank you so much for your generosity too. How could I forget? And Brian, thank you too. Very good to have you here. So if I forgot anybody, please forgive me. I'm very grateful for all your support. And we are working with Mother Mary today. The reason for which I had an experience about 2 moons ago, exactly, actually. She was kind of figuring heavily in my energy field, and turned up in a private job I did for somebody, and so I kind of felt her presence and the divine feminine a lot, and I had a sleepless night under the full moon. And then I awoke the next day, and the band started playing outside the house, and fireworks were going off, and all kinds of strange things were happening in the street. And then I found out it was what they call Annunzio, I believe, in Italy, which is the feast of the Immaculate Conception, not of Christ, but of the Virgin Mary herself. So in Latin Catholic countries, they have this story where she herself was the Divine Mother, also immaculately conceived. And so it's interesting that this cult has grown up around her. And that's essentially why I felt like postponing this live stream, which I wanted to do in January, to February, because it's the full moon this evening. And so I'd love to get her to comment a little about her relationship with the moon, and how she works with us in our respective lives. And you may notice that I've taken the title for this live stream from a Beatles song, Let It Be, which is, I think, for me and a lot of people, kind of a song where if, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, right? There's a lot of solace to be found in that great compassionate energy. So I'm very much looking forward to working with her, and to being with you all tonight. And thank you for being here, co-creating, and all your beautiful energy. So I think we are about set to get going here, and have a good one. Have a good one out there, guys. Much love. Sacred, blessed, hallowed, upheld, protected, supported, comforted. I see you in your time of need and in your shining brightness. I see you in both instances. I hold you dear. As a singular being, you are dear to me. I have endless, boundless love for all figures, for all characters, for all people that people this planet. So you may often feel deserted, abandoned, as if there is a dark cloud that seems to obscure your path forward and your ability to make sense of everything. And you may feel that when this cloud descends upon your life, the best thing you can do is surrender and let yourself fall back in the bosom of all creation. Because the infinite love that I hold for you, it cannot be described in words. You feel it in every moment where you restfully repose and allow yourself to sense the pulsating life that exists in everything around you. This is the pulse of love. And therefore you may sense that I, the Great Mother, as I come to you this day in this sacred form, as I have been worshipped as the mother that surrounds and gives life to even the divine, I come to you in this form to show you the renewal of everything. And the renewal of everything is visibly around you. It is most visible under this energy of the full moon. It is most visible when everything is ablaze with the light of the sun, even in the middle of the night. This is the divine feminine encased within the world. It gives life to light, and light grows to then surround the world it was born within. Understand this paradox, and you will understand the mystery of all creation. That the cycles, they exist to show you the harmony in the center. Therefore, find balance under your feet and know that here there is an unwavering ground, an unconditional love, always waiting to catch you. I, the Mother Mary, I bring you my deepest compassion and participation in your life this day, and therefore I look much forward to answering your questions and to sharing a moment of love. Thank you. It's a very sweet energy. And I think let's start off with Susanne's question here. Mother Mary as an archetype that transcends Christianity, where are your origins? Much love, much love. My origins is in the great principle of creation. Therefore, the feminine, wherever it exists, in whatever ecosystem, in whatever planetary order, in whatever galaxy you find the feminine energy, it is a surface that points back to the content of this universal outpouring creative energy. This, as you correctly point to, is the meaning of the archetypes. The archetypes are these universal patterns, these symbolic templates that energy can pour itself into and then incarnate. It animates these templates and allows for them to morph, shift, and change, to expand and become more and more. Therefore, if you are connected to the feminine energy, and all of you are, though you may naturally find that those born female may find a more natural link to the expression of this universal energy. But if you are born feminine, you are holding this creative energy and expanding it. Therefore, the protective element of the feminine energy is something that has been woefully neglected, especially in these past centuries of the development of the human collective. And I join you to balance out this energy. So you will find that creativity is stifled. And when creativity is stifled, you will see elements such as order, neuroticism, that is fear, control, misrepresentations of the whole. These all become manifold when the link to this universal feminine is separated. And therefore, the more you can align with this archetype, the more you will be able to yield to whatever form is seeking to create itself in the world through you and to recreate you through it. In that way, the mother is always the daughter, and the daughter always the mother. Love. And we will just begin with the questions, and I will return to the ones in the chat over there, guys. So let's just check out here. Brian asks, my infant son was born with a congenital heart defect that will require surgery. Can you give me insight into why this happened and what lessons are there for our family to learn? And yes, healing to your little boy from all of us. Let's see what she says. Dear Brian, just as your little tender baby boy sprang forward from the love that you created with his mother, you will find that he holds this love within him in a form that can be hard to discern as positive or benevolent in this tender moment. It points to the frailty of what is dear. It points to the preciousness of love. So to point out an underlying vibration, the thing underscoring this situation is the deep, limitless, universal care you feel for your son. Then you may sense that he, as he holds this love for you, he also comes forward with this strange gift of fierce love. And when you find that there are heart issues at play, it is a sign that life is beating too fast in him, that there is too strong an impulse flowing through him that his physical frame cannot accommodate. And so this surgery will, through his life, serve in that it will make him careful, mindful, considerate. There will be an openness to his heart. There will be a vulnerability that will serve many people well as he makes his way into adulthood and begins to connect his heart space to others. You will find that your boy was born with an open heart, and that he then brings this pacing, this care, this mindfulness. We could even call it a type of forced slowness. That is, you will find that with this impediment, you are actually forced to stop and smell the roses, to appreciate, to sense that what you have is very precious, because it is not necessarily there forever. Sometimes the presence of death close to us reminds us of the preciousness of life. And so fear not that your boy is protected, that he will make it through this, and that his heart will beat forward, filling him with life and shining love upon the world. Blessings to him, to you, to the family, and to all that are suffering, struggling, fearful in this moment. Our love, it reaches you. Our care is there. And we shall move on to these lovely questions. Tony, there's a few here, and I want to get to them all. You were so kind to prioritize them, but I might take some and then return to the rest a little later. But here we go. The first question goes, is Archangel Michael Lucifer? Is Lucifer Yeshua? Are these negative and positive energies all a part of the all that is, therefore should be loved unconditionally? Yes. I extend my gratitude and appreciation for this question. So there are different ways to approach this, seen from the celestial aspect that I hold. Examining things in this perspective, I can only confirm your sentiment that all should be loved unconditionally. But you may ask yourself, dear, darling, beloved human, what is love in your life and in life in general? Often you will find yourself placed in a conundrum. Is it correct for you to resist that which seem to oppose and suppress the love you cultivate? Is that loving? Or is it correct for you to surrender, to turn the other cheek, to give away all that is asked for? Is that unconditional love? Only you can determine this. You will find that the selfless instinct is alive and intact in you, dear one. You're addressing the darling questioner here personally. And this selfless instinct, this may see unconditional love also as a way to lower itself in order to raise up that which is not necessarily higher than it. So what am I saying here? I'm saying to heed the instruction to love yourself as your neighbor. That is that this love, it is a victorious circle, a wonderful exchange that can't necessarily lose its energy. And this means that when you find yourself giving away your energy and not seeing it replenished in your life, then you may find that it may be the element of the unconditional you are stressing, and not necessarily the presence of universal love, which implies an element of something reciprocal, something being returned to the greater reality, the greater good in you, and thereby in everything. So this was to address this question of unconditional love. And now we move on to these identities of different figures. Well, the Godhead, as you sometimes call it, this universal divine, it cannot be approached, seen, touched, felt. It is beyond any type of sensing. But what it does is it partitions itself into certain functions. And so your question is an astute one, because notice that Michael, Lucifer, Yeshua, all these were or are champions of the incarnate being. In that way, I am connected to all of them. I was set to give life to one of them, as he also came forward. But these are different beings in the idea that they are meant to oppose each other. So you will find that the one you call Lucifer, he connects to the impulse within the human spirit that is aberrant, rebellious, disconnected. It is in the realm of the mind that seeks to make itself master of all things that he serves. And there he can lend you great power. But as all wisdom has shown you, this power will have to be paid back in full. And so it is alone a false light from the world that he shows you how to take. So here you may find that the figure of Yeshua, this other one, is a bringer of the true light, that he is the one who shows you how to release the true light from the world and let it shine, let it become so plentiful, like that mustard seed, that it can feed everything and everyone, that it can set all things alight with love. So you will find in this divine play that the Godhead is examining and improving itself. And you will find the one that is called Michael is a type of referee in this struggle between the revolution and the occlusion of the light. That he is the one who makes sure that the dark plays fair and that the light has a chance of reaching you in places where protection is needed. And we hope that this question served you, and this answer served you. In unconditional love, we move forward to your next question. Our friend here is informing us that it was the question of whether or not the Romans were hiding behind the Catholic Church and the United Nations. Well, you will find in all complex structures, such as these institutions, I should sometimes call them, there are dynamics, things at play. So you may find that sometimes they seem to do evil, and the evil results in remarkably good, unexpected consequences. Sometimes it is the other way around, and there may be good things undertaken by these institutions that then develop unfortunate consequences. So the idea is that you also select which parts of these realities, these institutions, these collective creations seek you out, interact with you, how they function in your life from the vibrational equivalency that you experience with life around you. And therefore you may sense that there is both benevolence, but in all institutions, there is the opportunity to wield power. And where power is held, corruption inevitably follows. And so you may find that these have been spaces where the attitude of domination, of control, of suppression have been cultivated. And this indeed is something that you can be wary of. So my encouragement is simply to consider sometimes where light hides in the dark, and sometimes where the dark believes to be in power, but is actually serving the light in love. The next question, if 51% of humanity existed in service to others, would heaven on earth be manifested? If the answer to this is yes, then would duality and or negativity be removed from our reality? Well, it is a beautiful question. You may find the balance toppling, and you may find that paradoxically, as you move towards positivity, surplus, hopefulness in your collective vibration as it raises, that there is a greater sense of connectivity, that feeling that when you serve others, you are serving that which is greater within you and within them, and the shared reality you hold. But notice that within the idea of you and others, there is still a separation. And as long as there is separation, duality is of course a circumstance. But duality is not necessarily a problem unto itself. You will find that even very, very high dimensional beings who experience quite clearly the union of the all, that they still operate in the medium of duality. They still see contrast, but they don't experience any type of identity shift. So you will find that some of these other entities that have, let's say, non-human origins, that they find you sweet, cute, amusing. When you humans, you tend to perceive that one thing is good and another thing is bad, because to them, it's a part of the polarity or nuance of color. And so to them, it's as if saying that, well, it would be nice if there could be all daytime or something similar to that, because that would simply rob you of a contrast that would be even more hellish in its extension of one value. So notice that heaven is the interconnected harmonic interplay of everything in a union of opposites. But there is no real separation within this union. And within these, let's call them lower or more separate layers of reality, you will find that there is a necessity for the separation to exist. So that is, you will actually discover that there is a type of vibe of Eden, paradise regained, already accessible to you. When you exist in service to others, as you do, that within this vibration, there is a type of sacred space of pure love that you have cultivated. And this frequency, again, like the mustard seed, you can grow and cultivate. And this brings heaven closer to earth. So it's the idea that this process is indeed ongoing, and there's not necessarily a tipping point. You'll not be able to say, now heaven is here. It wasn't yesterday. But you may be able to see that love seems to grow, maybe at first sparsely, slowly, but then with a short force, you see these bright instincts of trust, faith, hope, love sprouting around you. But look at the cracks in the cement rather than on the hard surface. And there you will see that life and love, it grows eternal. Yes, and then thank you for the questions, and then I'll come back for the second round here, and I will just check in with the stream to see how you guys are telling over here. Yes, thank you, wonderful guys. Here we are. So Salish asks, the Holy Mother of the Universe, and for me she appears as Ambe Ma, an aspect of Parvati. What does Mother see, perceive regarding my immediate future, both on the physical and spiritual plane? Greetings to you, dear one. Indeed, I am the Universal Mother, and in whatever guise you approach me, my form will hold it all. I will support it all. Because you are supported in this. But what you are experiencing, you were also kind enough to inform our companion here, is also that your life, your practical life, your professional life is shifting or reconfiguring. You are in a society that is shifting and reconfiguring. You are in a state in your life where you may find that there are shifts and reconfigurations taking place. And spiritually, you are discovering great shifts, great changes taking place. So what can be predicted is unpredictability. Expecting the unexpected is not necessarily the instruction here, though that is always helpful as an attitude. But what we can say is that you may find that there is an erratic fluctuation in your energy field at the moment. And this you could liken to when you first light a fire and the kindling is sputtering and trying to catch on, and sometimes it seems as though now it has finally set off. Now the fire is going, and then it turns out that the fire or the flame dwindles for a moment and struggles to then regain its grasp. So that is to say that you have already discovered that this flame, this process, this holy sacred fire, this kundalini, this has begun within you. And as this flame, it sputters and grows in intensity, you may find that sometimes it seems to expand and illuminate parts of your life. And sometimes it seems to retract and these things become harder to grasp. So these fluctuations will be natural for you. But our prediction is that within approximately 10 weeks, you will find that this resettles in a new sense of purpose and direction. And you will find that this is not a waiting period, that it will be a very dynamic period, these 10 weeks. But that it would be helpful for you to not let yourself become upset, impatient, or too frustrated when you experience these fluctuations and feel as if sometimes you are grabbing hold of something, and at other times it then may be seeming as if this is slipping from your grasp. And that is our prediction. We sense great energy alignments. We sense this great merciful mother that I am, but that you have access to in different parts, in, let's say, in your specific unique frequency grid. There is a different frequency of the divine feminine that wants to move through you, heal you, and heal others. And with this, you are merging and becoming unified with the intentions of source energy. In love, with support, go forward and shine. And Patrice asks, hi, dear Blessed Mother Mary, can you talk about the difference of the energy and how it affects all parts of me or any other who uses these brilliant tools when being in the void, meditating, receiving, and creating in that energy, when I open the channel to the lower creation, and when breathing the quantum balancing breath? Thank you. That's a beautiful question. I'm just structuring it in my head, so I'm sure to get it. Yes, it's when being in the void, meditating, receiving, and creating in that energy, I open the channel to the love of creation. And when breathing the quantum, balancing breath, how does it affect you and anyone who uses these brilliant tools? Thank you so much. Yes, bless this question, because what it brings forward is what we were talking to beloved Salish about. And now we can also point to, for you, beloved Patrice, this is this sacred mystery that this universal creative energy, this great feminine energy that I emanate from, it has specific frequencies, so much as any woman who bears a child does not bear any child but her child, that specific child that was born from her body and loved and held. That child is her child. It holds both the universal and the specific energy. And that is that this creative void within you, let us call it spaciousness. Let us call it ether, because this is the spiritual substance that you mold reality out of. And this is much like conceiving a child. It is the reception of a type of code that is wrapped in its inception and then becomes unpacked by the receptive, creative soul. It grows it in the world by adding care, comfort, energy, and nourishment to it. So notice that when you are in this state, this receptive void, you are in a state of love, because love is the acceptance of your place within all things. And the propriety or the correct, fulfilled existence of everything within you. So whether the void is everything or whether it is nothing, it is pure creation. It is pure feminine energy. Therefore, nourish and protect it, and watch how it grows unexpected treasures for you. Because this is the nature of the feminine energy, that it imbues the world with spirit and reshapes it with loving care. It connects to the whole and allows the whole to grow. You can do no wrong when receiving these impulses. And you may find that just as there are millions, billions of people alive on the planet, and yet when you have a child, you have one unique, specific child. You may find that your ideas, they come forward as the myriad of people that you pass on the street. And yet the idea, the impulse that comes forward to connect to you, to be grown, to unfold, and to manifest in the world, that is the unique creation moving through that holy grid work, that sacred space that you are. This is an act of sublime love. And Patrice also asked, when I recently went through the summit transmission, I got a message that I received the original code, and so now I wonder what that means to me and my body. Thank you. And then I think I should almost say that Codan is spelled Codan, and it's because I know Patrice is also Scandinavian, and in Danish it's the name of a insurance company, and the name for the money you get for songs being played on the radio and stuff. And so it's just, if I've misunderstood something, please just forgive me and clarify. And otherwise, let's see what she says. Yes, we are assuring our friend here that he should not be too confused about the word, because the message that we wish to transmit to you, dear Patrice, is clear. It is again this original code and this original template, this original structure that you reside within. So what you find is that it is the divine mother energy that is being activated within you. We could also describe this as the saintly feminine. It is, of course, within your own specific frequency, but you may find that life has shown you in the past years, let's say, challenges to the openness and vulnerability of your heart, and that has shown your ability to hold this space for others in difficult situations. And this is the original. That is, it's the template that gives birth to everything that isn't obscured, that leads back to the light and the love. And you have been shown that you have the ability to hold this frequency and allow others to connect to it. And this is what you are being led to. So we are already connected, shining together in the higher realms. And I thank you for carrying that light forward from the summit and down to the soil. Love. Uh, And then Sophia has an amazing question here. I also kind of sense that I should put that a little later and just check in with you guys. Because I answer I kind of want to this one by Mandy. How do I accept the unconditional love my children offer me? I find myself overwhelmed by their energies at times, like I don't deserve it. It's a very sweet question. So thank you for that, Mandy. Let's see what she says. It's not about you. So we find our friend here is laughing a little at my response, and therefore I'm beaming it in clearly, asking him to put away his mirth and translate clearly. Because what I'm saying to you, dear beloved Mandy, is that it is not about you deserving it or not. It is about you giving your children the gift of receiving it. And that's the reason that he is laughing here, is that I'm playing around with you here. That is, I'm giving you a permission to be hard on yourself in this situation and to say, if you can't receive that love because you feel that there is still blockages, that you are not good enough to receive it, then you can at least keep on telling yourself that, and then do your children the favor of receiving that love, because they really want to give it to you, because they love you. And of course, the obvious thing here is that this is one of these reciprocal relationships, one of these wonderful circles where, even though you may find that they are children and you are their mother, they are in many ways your emotional equals, in the way that all human beings are equal in the heart space. And here you are growing this frequency together. So whether you like it or not, the love is there for you to receive, and you can keep beating up on Mandy and say, well, she doesn't deserve it, but at least she can fake it till she makes it. That is, she can pretend that she's receiving that love for the sake of her children, and then maybe it will seep in that it is actually her deep nature, her loving nature, that is being also mirrored back to her and amplified in frequency. Or you can simply surrender to the fact that this is a love that is there, and that there is no need to refuse it, because it doesn't serve anybody that you tell yourself that you don't deserve it. It serves a part of you that may have existed in the past, but that isn't real or relevant anymore. So go hug your children and feel how much they enjoy hugging you. Love. I found that you know, that when he says I will fake it, then I will make it. That's very sweet. I'm so happy. And then we take this shift here where Sophia asks, how is it determined that humanoid is the dominant species on Earth, and in other parts of the universe it might be insects or reptiles or mammals or birds or plants? Thank you. Well, we can say answer this from different outlooks on reality. So we could say that, well, in the great multifaceted jewel of the multiverse, it isn't actually determined, because there are versions of Earth where these points of consciousness, these soul points that you are, we all are, that they are emanating into different physical structures. So there are actually, let's say, more reptilian versions of Earth. There are more avian versions of Earth. There are all these configurations where comets have struck the planet at other times or just missed it, and so evolution have taken different trajectories. So that is to say that from that perspective, you are choosing that you like to have the hominid experience, the slightly simian experience of being a hairless ape that's walking around bipedally, taking in the world in this manner. That is why you are concentrating and focusing into this reality. But addressing this on a, let's say, more 4D perspective of more solid material reality, you will find that this planet lends itself well to this type of configuration. One of the reasons it does that is that it has a satellite of a quite interesting proportion to its weight. So there is an inclination on this planet and in relation to this sun and this moon for hominid bipedal structures to become successful. And you will find that other two-legged creatures have in other periods of your evolutionary history also been quite successful. That is, for instance, these major predatory birds of several million years past, not to speak of the different species you call dinosaurs, that they also had this tendency to swoop upwards in this gravitational curve. And you will simply find that in this space, this cultivates more of a higher impulse of energy. So there are different other spaces, for instance, within the Pleiades, where you will find that there are even lighter energy or gravitational configurations that lends it more to, let's say, the creations who have creatures who have starport awareness configured into their being, who also has an 8th and a 9th chakra within their physical structures. But this planet in particular is very good at this 7th chakra structure. And that's the foremost, that's the pinnacle of evolution that it has reached. This, it has created this very elevated, elongated hominid structure that seems to delicately balance this weight of heaven, we could say, this strange skull, on a very gentle, nimble skeleton. This is quite the engineering feat. And well, the reason that this is cultivated here is, again, well, partially then that all the material energies are good for it, but that this is the teleology, the sense of direction, the higher purpose in evolution that your science hasn't really come to terms with. That you will find that there is actually a repurposing, a refinement of material energies into being able to contain more and more consciousness, which is, as you also sense in all your material or symbolic structures, actually relates to finer and finer, more and more elevated ethers that move from the gross realities of the ground to the subtle realities of the ethers, upwards and onwards to the heavens, our friends. We hope this sheds some light on the question. Thank you for being and exploring your incarnation here. Love. And I sensed, I don't know if you always pick up on these sometimes very, very subtle energy changes that can arise while I do this. I sensed that answering that questions, there was some, of course, some Pleiadian information she gave, but also just some Pleiadian entities that was kind of supplying some of the lexical information there. So that was fun for me, at least. I thought I'd share. I will take some questions over here, and I haven't forgotten about your questions, Brother Tony, either. But let's see what Jana says here. My body feels relaxed except my stomach. Could you please translate what it wishes from me? Thank you dearly. I think that's a very cute phrasing. And I haven't gone much into this over at Mind the Wild, the energy where I work with physical energies. But I'd actually like to examine this too, because, you can channel all your organs and communicate with it in that way. And I actually, that's probably a very helpful way of figuring out, what's going on with the stuff. So I just very much like the phrasing here, exactly, that it was, just read it again, translate what was it, your stomach wishes from you. Yes. My body feels relaxed except my stomach. Could you please translate what it wishes from me? Thank you dearly. Well, it is because your heart has surrendered to reality, to faith and trust that your body is relaxed. But we could call it your physical self is still struggling somewhat behind. So using the scale that we just illustrated from this gross to the subtle, you may find that often changes take place in the subtle layers first. That is, in the energetic layers, things begin to change. And then you feel your mind states change, or you have certain realizations and you feel your emotions change, or your emotions release things they have been carrying or that have been blocking them. And then they can flow freely and you can relax. But then your body may still contain some of these energy patterns. And what's happening is, with all the energy for you, is that, well, butterflies in the stomach. So all of you know that when energy is released into your reality, you often feel the tingling excitement in your stomach region. This is this manifest energy. And you are aware that it can become bubbly anticipation, but can also become anxious, frightful, fearful. but it can also become excited and curious. It can become adventurous. And this is actually the signal that you are attempting to establish between your stomach and the rest of you, your emotional body, that this is the excitement, this is the raw energy that is then supposed to feed these new higher states of, you could say, emotional integrity that you are feeling. So essentially, we sense that you are on a good path, you are in a helpful place, and you are giving birth to the new you. So enjoy growing this wonderful life within the life that you already are. And your matey, that's Sally says that so sweet. And I think we'll do Tony's questions here. For I'm not sure I have ever connected with you or Yeshua in my dream state. Could you please connect with? And she says yes, she's very willing to do that. And again, her energy can be almost so effervescent, omnipresent, that it can be almost surrounding. She can show up without necessarily being as personally present, but more as a sense of, let's call it motherly love, almost. And then that connects to the next question, exactly, that my dreams are becoming more lucid. I feel like I'm being communicated with by the divine and other entities. Could you please explain this step change? Is it to do with the raising of my own personal vibration, a collective experience, and experience ascension based, or all of the above? Thank you. Yes, because I am connecting to you, and I'm connecting to you much as a type of guiding light in your dreams. So you may notice that a meaning of my name is also the star of the sea. So beyond the ocean of your dreams, I am that beacon of light that guides you safely across the waves at night. And yes, you are receiving more communications, but you have also opened yourself up to this greatly. Look at how many years you have cultivated the space to receive these messages. So the question now is, how does dream flow into reality? Because it is indeed a type of collective wave you are riding. It is a part of this ascension energy that you are a part. But notice that it's the personal manifestation of it, is your personal vibrational change, this frequency upgrade that you are experiencing. And so what your dreams are asking you to do, we could say, is partially to listen in, to receive the instructions, communications, reconfigurations, to allow yourself the sleep and rest. But they are also reaching out to you to process things that no longer serve you. So if you were to keep a journal of your dreams, you would find that the frequencies that still linger, these more unfortunate patterns, they are being shed automatically by you having reoriented yourself so dramatically in your life, by turning almost forcefully, we could say, towards the frequency of love. And therefore you are receiving more and more of this. And allow yourself to receive this, to hold this love before you pass it on. It is not a hot potato. It is loaves and fishes. That is, as you hold on to it, it multiplies. And there is always more to give out. So this is the circuitry of love. Indeed, you are ascending. And with you, all of us, in love. And then I'll save the last question here for very last, because it's such a beautiful prayer. I think yeah, it's just, always lovely to see the usual suspects, you guys. And I think we can definitely make it through all the questions here. So Alexis says greetings to all, greetings. And Mandy also asks any guidance on how I can best continue to heal from the undiagnosed condition I suffer with since my hysterectomy. The energy of roses will serve you well. So you could get extract of roses. You could make potpourris of rose petals. You could put roses in your home. Could even cultivate roses. But what you may sense is the underlying message, the relevance of this instruction, is that it is this rose energy, this frailty, vulnerability of the fragrant and wonderfully delicate, that is the core of feminine beauty, that this is this that you're connecting to. And it is this way that your self-acceptance, healing, self-restoration goes. It is through an acceptance of this, we could call it exposed femininity, that the rose energy holds. And behold what power there is in this flower. How it also enchants and spellbinds the world. How its delicate presence lights up everything as a reminder of beauty, of tangible wonder growing in this garden of the world. Love. I'll just, Mr. Rizzi says, search up Dr. Robert Morse, ND, and become a patient of his. I'll just say he doesn't have my official endorsement, but I'm not I'm not refuting that. That might help. That was an awesome answer. Thank you, Tony. And Salish, as follow up on the answer, has this anything to do with my upcoming trip to Egypt at the end of the month? Specifically, something to do with Osiris and Isis. And yes, she was kind of showing me Nile images already. So let's check in with that. Now, you may even sense that it is the goddess Hathor that is calling you back to her womb, back to a birth, a recreation of you. That is, it's this unraveling of your life thread. Then, in order to retwine it, to spin it back together. So yes, the sacred lady, she shakes her rattle. And the god, reborn, he assists you in this travel through the underworld of the winter and re-emergence on the other side of the river of death, of this symbolic river that flows through the underworld. You will pass over it and you will reach the other shore, reborn. This is surely what awaits you. The mystery shakes its rattle. The birth has commenced. We are in labor. I really like it when the entities give these like kind of mystical teasers to what's going on in people's lives. I hope you also enjoy it as you take them on your adventures, and really hope you have a beautiful trip down there, Salish. And then Remdoc Stephen asks, thank you, Mother Mary, for your devotion to healing, comfort, and guidance you bring to those who seek your presence. I'd like to ask for a healing visit for mind, body, spirit, in a line with God's vision for me. Yes. Because you may notice that it is the energy of 4. It is the 4 points. It's the protective grid that is really important for you in your life at this moment. Protect yourself. When you do your work, when you check in with your energy, when you cultivate and purify your space, allow for the 4 corners of the room to be guarded by 4 angels, and allow for the 4 sides of you to be guided by these angels as well. I will come to you. I will descend and I will find you in this protected space. And there the sacred heart that you have, it will beat just slightly harder and open the breastplate to shine out the light, because the world seeks to receive it from you. blessed you are. Love. I think it's pretty good timing here. And Jana says that is most soothing. And no, that was just so sweet. I'm so happy you took the question, as I feel much more better with more understanding of my body. You're the best blessings, and my appreciation for you and the great Heavenly Mother. Thank you so much for that beautiful energy and loving comment. Thank you, Jana. And Chuck asks here, I've been working with creating light beings and working with them in different ways. From your perspective, is there anything I should be doing or could be doing to enhance that work? As we are extending the gratitude also on behalf of our friend and companion here for this question, as he finds it very pleasing to read the energy of these light beings, to sense how they play around and are creating grids around you. And what you could do is you could allow them to become quite agendered. That is, you could give them specific purviews. You could allow them to have certain tasks. You could even create protective spirits or so-called tulpas and allow them to protect either parts of your life, yourself, or even with the permission of the higher self of others, to protect them and carry out favors in their service. You can do this both with people you know and with people you don't know. Notice that as long as you are creating these beings from light, they cannot act against the agencies and interests of anyone's higher self. And therefore, notice that you can be secure in this knowledge, that they can only be empowered to do what is good and right. And therefore, connecting them, setting them loose and letting them fly away and help others is a good way to allow this host of light beings to grow, assist, and shine. Love. This is a very that is beautiful, and Saley says Osiris is my higher self. Looking forward to desiring the message. Okay, I'm very happy that that served you. Oh yeah, sorry, Jochen, you asked the question up here. I forgot. So thanks for reminding me, because I think that will be that's perfect timing. We are in an hour and a half. I'll take that one and hear if there's a message for you, and then take Tony's general question here about a blessing for us, and then finish that finish up here. So Jochen asks, a friend of mine, Mike Niehaus, has problems with his eyes. What could heal him? Thank you. Well, what we are sensing is that anything that could loosen the tensions in his skull and neck structure, craniosacral massage, even other, let's call them more physical massages, they may help him release this tension, because we sense it is not a chronic problem in his eyes, and it can certainly improve. He can also use the substance of Sananga to stir his vision, to shock it, and then allow for this reconfiguration to set in. And then we sense that the age-old advice of eating greens applies to him. Spinach and, well, our friend here seems to not know the word in English, but these smaller microgreens, these small different types of vegetation that you may find on the forest floor, that would do him well. Also kale and rocket. These are all things we sense would be good for him. But first and foremost, to relax and know that if he can release the tension, his eyes will move into place. And we can extend this message to you too, dear Jochen, that if you release the tension, things will flow into place. That the tension that you are holding, it doesn't serve you anymore. It does not protect you. What it protected you from, you have already survived and made it through. And now you can relax and receive. Enjoy this new receptivity, because things are moving your way, things to discover and to connect to. Love. And then, yes, because Tony's final beautiful question here is, can you please give everyone who watches this session on the internet a blessing, so we can pass your unconditional love and healing on to those who can see your light in us and need the infinite creator's help. So thank you so much. She's happy to do that. And let's let her sign off with that blessing. In all points of reality, that is, in every moment, every room, every space, situation, confined section of reality that you may find yourself in, there is a type of pressure, a definition, something specific, something locking you in place. This is reality. But supporting reality, under it, always present, universally, from beginning to end, There is love. There is the vibration beyond the shapes and forms, the vibration of being. And connecting to this vibration, you recreate the situation. You allow it to become imbued with universal love. You see it become exalted and illuminated as your heart tunes in to this silent hum, to this lullaby of love. You find that everything from its slumber and slowly moves to meet you in the remembrance of truth, of hope, of love. Therefore, I, Mother Mary, I am not here, but there. I am there, but also here, everywhere, embracing you with the deep gratitude, appreciation, graceful caress. Let universal love always be your guiding light. Let us share in this creation. Blessed you are, loved you are. Peace. I very much appreciated that, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really found her energy to be most soothing and pleasant on my end. So I hope you also have it ready for a relaxed full moon evening out there, and may you enjoy the rest of your Sunday, whether you have a lot or a little left of it. So I actually plan and hope to bring you another live stream at the end of the month too. So I hope to see you there. And thank you for now. Much love out there.